Can you give us any hint as to the kind of stories that we're going to be seeing in season 2?
Well, I can tell you that the show starts, season 2 begins a week after season 1 ended, a week after Will went on the air, he called the Tea Party the American Taliban, and it goes through just a little bit after the election, the November election. And there's one story that's running through the entire season, actually more than one story that's running through the entire season. But we have the election and the primaries and the conventions, and we have Trayvon Martin and the Supreme Court's decision on the Affordable Care Act, drones.
Do you get into guns with Aurora or Sandy Hook?
We just get up to Sandy Hook.
And will you cover that in the show?
You know what? Right now I'm writing episode 5, and I'm not 100% sure. I badly do, but that's a tough thing to write about that without minimizing it or exploiting it or just spreading cheese whiz all over it. Obviously, Newtown is something, that it was a profoundly important moment to all of us, and the last thing that you want to do is handle it poorly. But I can give you an example sometime of where story ideas come from. For instance, and I can say this because it's not something that we're doing on the show this season, because I don't think it falls in our timeline. But you did an interview on your show recently. You interviewed the man who was behind the petition drive to have you deported from the country. And, it became...
By the way, that wasn't the worst bit. It was the petition then launched by someone in Britain to keep me in America that really hurt. I got nearly as many votes.
It became a very famous interview. We all saw it, and if you watch the interview, you're trying to conduct a proper interview at the beginning. He's really having no part of it, and you really have no choice but to let him do his thing, which was probably helpful, exposing him as, well, frankly, is not somebody you'd want to see have a gun.
Alex Jones owns 50 guns. It's reassuring, isn't it?
Oh, boy. And but then at the end came a fantastic, lawyerly, theatrical move that you had been waiting a long time for. It was a Columbo-esque. Does that reference mean anything to you?
Of course. Love Columbo.
It was a Columbo-esque. Just one more question. It's fantastic, and I couldn't wait to see what you're going to do with this. Sure enough, he said, I hope I'm not butchering this, because I'm paraphrasing.
You're probably improving it.
You said, who do you feel is responsible for the attacks of September 11th, 2001? He said, well, the United States is. And Pierce just said, this is the man who's trying to have me deported. We'll be right back. And so I would look at that, and while I wouldn't want, we don't do actor dramatizations of real things. This was, it became an instant classic. It became very famous what you did. So I wouldn't be able to do that. But what I can do is look at that and figure out what are the theatrical elements of this. What was it that made it so cool, and what can I take and just build a fictional car for and do it on the show? And so ideas will happen like that a lot.
Emily, I mean, if you were the producer in that moment, I remember my own producer in my ear as this madman was screaming at me, 1776, King George III, and I was thinking, this is great. And let's be honest, let him self-combust. But my producer's going, I'm pulling it. I'm going, no, you're not. Yes, I'm pulling it. No, you're not. No, you're not. And we had that sort of battle that you guys have all the time on the show, which is a very real one, and it has to be a very close relationship. I mean, he's a great friend of mine, my producer, but we have this constant tension and friction. How do you handle that yourself with the show, with Jeff, and that dynamic of when to pull the plug, when to let him do his thing? What have you learned about probably the reality of a cable show?
Well, what's interesting and exciting for us in acting those moments is that we really are acting those moments sort of in real time, in the sense that Jeff is in his studio with an earpiece connected to my mouthpiece. Does that sound disgusting? And forget that.
There's the headline.
Start again. Anyway, and
just spit it out, Emily.
I'm producing him. I'm God. Anyway, it's all very exciting. But I don't know. Shall I stop? We really do get to experience the kind of the chaos and the confusion of having a million different things going on at once, and we have enough cameras, courtesy of HBO, to be able to shoot me doing my scenes in the control room while Jeff is filming his moments, and so it's all sort of happening, and it's total chaos, and it's impossible to hear yourself think, which I'm sure is what you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly.